We are Legion.
What is up, comic fam, and welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it is Tuesday, which means it is new DC Day for half the population out there. And for the rest of y'all, you can get your books tomorrow. So to celebrate the first half of New Comic Book Day, let's kick it off right. Let's give a big shout out to Big Time Collectibles, channel sponsor. They sponsor the monthly Legion Loot giveaway for channel members. If you're in the market for any exclusive variants, high-end ratios, or placing those FOC orders, be sure to check out BigTimeCollectibles.com. And if you're in the market to get any books cleaned or pressed, look no further. Justin's Comics over on Instagram can take care of you for as little as $10 a book. He's got some of the fastest turnaround times. He can also directly submit to CGC and CBCS for you. So don't miss out on that. Now let's also give a big thank you to the Augusta Book Exchange. They are my LCS. If you're ever in the Augusta area, check them out. They are the ones where I pick up these books every week from. So big shout out to Paul and Donna over there. All right, so let's get right into it. It's an awesome day for DC. Like, there's some major reads today. There's a couple of controversial ones and just some all around good books. And I've been lucky enough to wake up early today and actually read through my entire pool list for today. So that was actually awesome. I read them digital first if I can't wait to get to the store, if I have all that free time before the house wakes up, and then I go pick them up and just straight to bag of words. But Justice League issue number 69, that backup story, Justice League Dark, came out today. So this was do they have a what is it called, like a sub for the artist right now? And the artwork in it looks very cartoony and very blocky, but I honestly dig it a lot. It reminds me of that Day of Judgment series that Jeff Johns did. It was some of his earliest work at DC, but it was the return of Hal Jordan to the land of the living after he had died, and then he comes back as the Spectre. But the artwork in that, it looks very similar to the artwork in this. But this was kind of a setup issue. There was not much going on in the Justice League stuff currently. You know, we have all these Leviathan, Checkmate, Justice League, the United Planets. There's just a lot of these organizations all kind of crossing paths right now. And this issue was kind of just structuring them and kind of placing them in their part in the Justice League, trying to get a handle on who all of these Deathstrokes were that popped up in that last issue. But the Justice League Dark backup story by Ron V was phenomenal as always. There's huge things going down in Atlantis, and Merlin pulling a big old okey doke on the Justice League Dark team. So I highly recommend that Justice League Dark backup story. As far as the main Justice League story, there's a lot going on all over the place. So you really have to really enjoy that team book to really, I think, get the best out of that. But I'm still intrigued to see what they're going to do with Superman in it, because we know that Clark has other things going on that have him off planet right now. So we'll see if it reflects in this. I'm always like a continuity hound. You know, I'm always like reading through these titles and figuring out where they place inside the grander story. And this one right now, even though it's been canon, it's definitely been canon. The events that happened in with Clark and stuff are kind of like why the Justice League isn't with him on War World, why he had to form that team of the Authority to go there, because the Justice League couldn't leave Earth behind because of the mess that he was kind of responsible for making. But anyways, yeah, let's say hey to the couple people that popped in here. Tylox the Mighty, what is up, brother? What's going on, Jeff? Greetings. The new Jang Star Wars. Captain Bucky O'Hare reminds me of Captain Carrot. Yeah, that Jackson variant. I definitely scored one of those. We got Dale of Suspense. What's going on? That was an awesome video, by the way. He just got his daughter did a slab unboxing, so check out his channel to see what she pulled. What's going on, Flo? I'm waiting for that to be collected. Yeah, and they're backup stories, so they're short. So it can be collected like in just a square bound really easily. It doesn't have to be like a hardback or anything excessive. What's going on? Long time no see, Paul. That is, as I mentioned earlier, that's this guy right here. 100% photorealistic likeness there. It's actually a very good drawing of them. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Mars Comics. So those that are hopping, all you've missed so far was the Justice League 69 for this week. All right, so next one up that I pulled was Fear State Batman 117. So I have not been a huge fan of Tynan's run on Batman. The Joker War stuff was okay. It ended very lackluster, but what's to be expected? But everything since then, since Future State happened, has just been hot garbage. It is, just being honest, it's been rough. So I can imagine if like you're new to comics and you jumped in on Tynan's run, this might seem like it's big and grandiose and it's awesome, but it's actually really bad story writing for Batman. It's all over the place. It's splotchy, and this is supposedly the finale of it. But if you keep up with this stuff ahead of time, you know that this whole Fear State event kicked off with a one-shot called Fear State Alpha. And there's a Fear State Omega coming to bookend it. So though this might have been a big fight, it was good for like the fight scenes. I'll give it that. Like it was definitely solid with the fighting and everything. But overall, it's just I'm so ready for it to be over. I'm so excited for that Williamson run that's coming next month. So I'm going to assume that Fear State Omega, without actually knowing the release date, I'm assuming it's probably going to be in like 2 weeks, like halfway between now and the next issue of this. But yeah, wasn't really pumped about that one, but I am happy it's over-ish. Next up, probably the most controversial book of this year, and that's Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue number 5. And you see that it's been labeled with the DC Pride banner because everybody knows this is the issue where Jonathan comes out as bisexual. But I definitely want to get into this and break this down because I did read it, and I'm not one of the naysayers about the idea of him being bisexual. I am critical about how you do it, though. Are you doing it just to pander to people, or are you giving this an honest story direction? And I'm a huge fan of Tom Taylor. That's no secret to anybody who watches the channel. But I definitely have my pros and cons with this issue. And the pros are very heavy pros, and the cons are very heavy cons. So I'm excited to actually break that down and get into it. And I'll do that Sunday on At Week's End if you want to get my full take on that. But overall, I would say 2/3 of this book were absolutely phenomenal. And in that last issue, Jonathan decided to kind of step out from under his father's cape and go directly address this government leader, Bendix, and how he's handling the civilians of his country. And we saw that Bendix had a trap waiting for him and overcharged him with energy. So this starts off right where it left off. Is he going to run rogue and run rampant? What's he going to do? How's he going to handle it? How's he going to get himself back to a normal state? But yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out and reading it because Tom Taylor's been doing a phenomenal job on that series. So we'll get into the critical stuff and the spoilers at a later time. What is going on, Circumstances? Glad you could hop in here. So let's see. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This was a amazing issue. So this has pretty much been almost like an episodic read where each issue they're trying to get one step closer to the man who killed Ruthie's dad there, and they keep running into obstacles along the way. It's like one of those 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and you have to push to get right back to where you were. And they get so close at times, and they just get set way off. But this was an awesome issue, callback to old events in Superman as well. And it was just a great read. Like Tom King's been crushing this. And I know there's a lot of people out there very critical of Tom King. And that's understandable. His writing's not for everybody. But his standard tropes and his standard writing style, he completely flipped on its head for this series. And I highly recommend this. If you're somebody who is just not a fan of Tom King's writing style, but you want to read a good book, this could be on that list despite it being Tom King. It's just so different than what he normally does. What is going on? Remy Q Studios with the $3.99 super chat. I definitely appreciate that. I think I have something loaded in here. I'm trying to play with stuff to do when people do that. So he's raising funds for the channel like we're raising the Legion of Doom out the swamp. Definitely appreciate that. All those funds definitely get kicked back and go into the channel itself and the channel members. I did pick up some stuff today as well to add to the monthly Legion loot box. So that money's is going to a good place and right back to y'all's pockets. DC is changing Soup's tagline. No more truth, justice, American way. I actually covered that in depth on the channel last month. And the tagline, truth, justice, and American way, has not actually been his tagline for years now. So if you read Superman and you follow Superman, you would know that it's just been truth and justice when he mentions it or talks about it in the comics. They didn't renew the rights for that tagline since almost 13 years ago. It's been gone, been done. And they've been bouncing around every now and then. They would say truth, justice, and whatever was kind of relevant to the story at the time. But since he is the man of tomorrow, and Superman has always been of tomorrow kind of thing for longer than even the American Way tagline, which is actually war propaganda that was attached to it, and to make him more inclusive as well as make it more accurate to the book itself, since Superman does not operate in America and nor does he operate or intervene for America. That's kind of his thing. He doesn't mess with politics at all. He doesn't intervene for or with America at all. And he actually did recently, and that's why he's ostracized and alone on Warworld. But then changing it up to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow was super on brand and more encompassing. So I'm definitely for it. I'm not against them keeping this tagline, but I'm not opposed to the new one. It actually makes a lot more sense. What is going on? Aggressively relaxing. How are you today? Hidden Gems popped up in here. How's it going? How's it going? So yeah, next book up that I pulled for today and read is the backbone of DC Comics continuity, and that's Suicide Squad, issue number 9. So Amanda Waller has been scouring the multiverse to get her plan in order to pretty much just set up shop on a different Earth and operate off of it, because she's got her back to the rope. She's in the corner, nowhere else to go. And she has her team heading out to Oa to score a prisoner from there. And so again, we find Suicide Squad crossing over into other titles and just bridging all this continuity together, which has been really great. So they've been doing it in like 2 or 3 issues, like kind of cover the tie-in stuff that they have going on. So this is just the first one of that. So this issue is a little bit weaker than the other, the past couple have been, which were just amazing. But I do expect this to kind of come together and deliver just like the rest have. What is going on? Better late than never. Yeah. I'm old and semi-old school, so I don't know. Interesting. Yeah. Yep. They just made that official announcement that they solidified his tagline at DC Fandom. So next up on the list from this week's hauls, I got that Nice House on the Lake number 6. This has been one of my favorite reads every time it drops. And I pick up the A and B for it. I don't normally do that with anything, consistently pick up multiple covers of, but I've been doing that with every one of these. And it is, dude, this was such a good read. There's really no way to talk about it without spoiling it. Give you just kind of the synopsis is like questions will be answered, more questions will be added, and the entire everything you've expected up until this point is going to be flipped on its head. And that absolutely delivered like tenfold. It was such a good read. Tynan seems like a great indie writer, but he can't superhero at all. It doesn't fit his writing style, I'm guessing. Dude, I couldn't agree more, even though there are always exceptions to rules. And I think that he did a good job when he was doing Detective Comics early on in the Rebirth era. I mean, it was nothing stellar or exceptional, but it was good, consistent comic booky writing. And I honestly think like he's just got his mind so much more on passion projects like Department of Truth, Wind. Definitely not something that's killing the children, though that's hyped to hell. It's just it does not hold up or compare to his other body of work. But yeah, I could imagine if you're getting to do something that's straight out of the creative mind of yourself, like Nice House on the Lake is here, which is it's just an indie horror written under the DC Black Label bandwagon there. But it was amazing read. So that was it for the actual pools for this week. But I do have other stuff that I picked up, and in the back issues, some new back issues added. I did get Superman Up in the Sky issue 1, 2. Look at that, that's an awesome cover. You can just imagine Muhammad Ali on the other side of him, back from that very, very vintage and very, very iconic fight that they did. Got number 3 and number 4. So 5 and 6 are out there. I do have to acquire them. I think this is the only DC Tom King story that I don't own. But yeah, just 2 issues left. And then I did pick up a Morbius the Living Vampire number 1 that I'll be throwing in this month's Legion loot box, as well as Thor issue number 6, that second print with Thanos with like the Null armor or whatever, and then Mjolnir with the Infinity Stones in it. So that's a really cool wraparound cover, and I know a lot of people have talked about potentially seeing this event come to fruition, and it looks like he's surrounded by zombies everywhere. So I don't read Kate's Thor. I kind of follow it loosely from the friends in the community that do read it and talk about it. So if I remember correctly, this was like some kind of vision that was had. Who knows? Always be careful with your tapes on the books. But yeah, I'll be throwing those into the Legion loot box. And I also got a couple more things donated by Pop's Attic that he found out in the wild. So there's like some stuff I'll be opening up. Probably record it tonight so I can post it tomorrow. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. I don't want to stay on here long. We got List Eman hopped in the chat. What is going on? Yeah, I knew you'd enjoy that Thor book. I'm trying to grab stuff across the board. You know, there's that Morbius movie that's coming out. So I got this number 1, and it's a cool variant. I'm going to have to look up what artist did it. But if you're excited about Morbius, there'll be some Morbius in there. I know Remy Q loves this Thor. And yeah, I just try to pick up stuff along the way. But yeah, I'm still getting geared up for that 1,000 subscriber giveaway. It's going to be an extravaganza at this point. So if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to the channel and be on the lookout for that. Yeah. But don't worry, I'm keeping it short, so it is watchable and a rewind. So I appreciate everybody stopping in. And as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.